Constitution of India came into force on January 26, 1950. The Constitution is the supreme law of India. The preamble of the Indian Constitution declares India as a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic and aims to secure justice, liberty, equality to all citizens and promote fraternity to maintain unity and integrity of the nation. The Constitution guarantees 6 fundamental rights to Indian citizens: the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. The Constitution was originally handwritten in English and Hindi. It is the world's largest written constitution. Handwritten by Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada in a flowing italic style with beautiful calligraphy, the Constitution was published in Dehradun and photolithographed by the Survey of India. Each page was decorated by artists from Shantiniketan, including Nandlal Bose. The original document is now preserved at the Library of the Parliament of India. In these 71 years of its existence, there have been 104 amendments to the Constitution. Order in Chaos examines this test of time that the Constitution of India has braved. Justice Nagmohan Das has been passionately reaching the tenets of the Constitution to the masses. He believes that every Indian needs to first of all know what is our Constitution and what are the duties and responsibilities of every Indian.
All independent states are not republics, but all republics are independent states. The question is, when an independent state will become a republic? When an independent state accepts a written constitution and implements it, then that country becomes republic. In 1947, India became independent. On 26th January 1950, by accepting the world's biggest written constitution, India became republic. On Independence Day, we will remember our elders who fought for our independence, who sacrificed their lives, their families, their career, and we pay our tributes to them. Simultaneously, we draw inspiration from them to sacrifice ourselves to the cause of nation, to the cause of society. But on Republic Day, we have to think, analyze and find out ways and means for future. What are the achievements that we have made? Where we have failed? What are our continued problems, challenges? What is the further way, future way is the question that we have to debate, discuss, think and find out on the day of Republic. We have completed 71 years of Republic. We are getting into 72nd year in this 26th January 2020. In these 71 years, the Republic of India has made certain achievements. I do not subscribe to the view that nothing is achieved in these 71 years. You may ask then, what are the achievements that we have made? After India became independent, we have built democratic institutions. We have established parliament to enact laws for the country. We have established Vidhan Sabha to enact laws for the state. These are the legislative institutions. There is central government, here is state government, Jilla, district administration, Taluka administration and Grama Panchayatis. These are the executive institutions that we have built. At the national level there is Supreme Court, at the state level there is High Court, at the district level there are district courts, at Taluka level there are Taluka courts. These are the judicial institutions that we have built. These democratic institutions, that is legislative, executive and judiciary, are the biggest achievement that we have made. 136 crore population of this country, directly or indirectly, are participating in day-to-day functioning of these democratic institutions. This is no small achievement. In addition to building democratic institutions, we have brought democratic reforms. We have brought land reforms, industrial reforms, agriculture reforms, educational reforms, health reforms, language reforms, cultural reforms. In this way, we try to improve the living conditions of common man and the entire society. In 1947, when India got independence, we had less than 20% of literacy. Today, we have taken up to nearly 80%. In 1947, we had nearly 70% of population below poverty line. Today, we brought down to 21%. In 1947, we were only producing 50 millions of food grain per annum. Today, we are producing nearly 294 million tons of food production. Then we were importing food. Today, we are exporting food. In this way, we provided education, employment, health, housing, transport, drinking water facilities and improved the living conditions of common man to a certain extent. This is no small achievement. In this country, we have treated women, Dalits, tribals and minorities as secondary rate citizens. After India became republic, we have seen a woman president, prime minister, ambassadors, governors, central ministers, chief ministers, parliamentarians, state legislators. In large number, they have entered into the local institutions like Grama Panchayat, Taluka Panchayat, Jilla Panchayat, municipalities, corporations, etc. Women also entered into the executive. There are women IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS officials. In this way, they have entered into the executive. We have seen the Supreme Court judges, High Court Chief Justices, District Court judges. In large number women have it. So also Dalits also. We have seen a Dalit president, Deputy Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, Ministers, Legislators, Parliamentarians, etc. Like this, both women and Dalits and minorities have entered into every walk of our society, every field of our society. They have contributed their respective areas and enriched and contributed for the development of the nation. This is no small achievement. In the field of space technology, information technology, atomic energy, agriculture production, Indian defense, Indian service sector, India is one among the top 10 in the world. All this achievement is because of the reason that Indian Constitution. Apart from that, we have seen India is not only a developing country, today it is said to be a developed country. In addition to that, what we have to see today is that our Constitution has gained the importance, has gained the acceptance of not only Indian people but all over. World famous jurists say that Indian constitution is not only the world's biggest written constitution, but it is one of the best constitutions and most relevant constitutions today. It has withstood the test of 71 years of time. Therefore, I say, in India, Hindus worship Bhagavad Gita, Muslims worship Quran, Christians worship Bible, Sikhs Guru Grantha, but the whole of Indians, the entire Indians, their sacred text is Indian Constitution. This is how Indian Constitution has become important, relevant, and every one of us has to read, understand, imbibe the constitutional values and live up to it. I am conscious of the fact that despite all these achievements, nation is facing both problems and challenges. There are today people with hungry stomach. There are illiterates, unemployed, agriculture is in crisis, industry is in crisis. These are the problems that we are facing. I am not a pessimistic, I am an optimistic. I am confident if all of us work unitedly and little more by adopting and using modern scientific achievements, by bringing certain reforms in our administration and governance and also in our policy, I am confident that within a short time of few years we can solve our problems. But nation is facing challenges. Terrorism, fundamentalism, communalism, corruption, criminalization, cultural degeneration are some of the challenges that the country is facing. These problems and challenges cannot be countered by individuals. Unitedly with one voice, and we all together have to fight it and combat it. Some people say, for the problems of the country, for the challenges before the country, our constitution is the reason. I do not subscribe to that view. According to me, that is a wrong conception. Those conceptions are coming out from the people who have not read the constitution and understood the constitution and not have live up to the constitution. In 1949, when Dr. Ambedkar presented the final draft constitution for its acceptance to the government of India, he made a caution statement. What is that? However good a constitution may be, if the people who are implementing the constitution are bad, even a good constitution is bound to become bad. Therefore, today the fault lies not in our constitution, but the fault lies within us. We fail to read our constitution, we fail to properly understand our constitution, we fail to imbibe the constitutional philosophy, we fail to live up to the constitution. That is the mistake for our problems and for our challenges. Unfortunately, today in the 72nd year of Republic of India, we are in a serious crisis and we are in crossroads. The democratic institutions that we have built are now being dismantled. The way in which the parliament is working, the state assemblies are working, is a shocking thing to every democratic person. Bills are passed without debate. Bills are passed without any discussion. This is most unfortunate. Not only that, nearly 56% of elected representatives are from hereditary family background, real estate background and corporate background. Nearly 36 to 38% of elected representatives are facing criminal cases. This is 88% of our Indian Parliament is a composition of crorepathies. Because of these things, I say democratic institutions are being dismantled or weakened in one way or the other. There is a serious threat to our democratic rights. We cannot question the government, criticize the government. We cannot subject the government for any analysis. If we raise our voice against the government, they will be branded as undemocrats, unpatriots, urban exiles, etc., etc. They will be charge sheeted under sedition law. Even courts have used the power of contempt of court for petty things. Courts also have failed to exercise the amount of tolerance that is required in a civil society and a democratic society. This is how we are losing our democratic rights. Undemocratic reforms are coming. With what object? Land reforms came. Now, land reforms are being amended to take away the spirit with which we have introduced. Take for example, the law relating to love jihadi, law relating to cow slaughtering, law relating to Citizenship Amendment Act, law relating to labor reforms, law relating to Kisans. In my humble submission, they are all undemocratic reforms. In a situation like this, all of us have to think how to put the nation into proper track. What is the way? In my considered opinion, the only proper way is the constitutional path. If we follow the constitutional path, if we implement the constitution in a true spirit, I am of the opinion that we can solve our problems, we can combat our challenges, we can take the nation forward in a right direction. Therefore, let us read the Indian Constitution, let us understand the Indian Constitution, imbibe the constitutional values and live up to the constitutional philosophy. That is the only way before us and to the nation.